watching the Daily Report with me, George Maringa. Tonight, as we have a focus on matters school safety. Tonight, our guests are Jose Ngunjiri. He is already here in studio to be able to speak to us about matters safety in schools. He is also a safety fire officer, and also joining us virtually is Dr. Ombogo, who is a proprietor of 2 institutions in Embu County. And I just want to go through some of your feedback. You caught me going through some of it, and it is, regarding the topic of discussion tonight. Dominic Momanyi from Nyamira County. All is set on paper, but no implementation of those safety guidelines. My suggestion is as follows. 1, all dormitories should be powered with solar lighting. 2, training sessions in all schools about safety precautions. 3, if possible, my son's school is more congested, even circulation of fresh air is minimal. Please just make an impromptu visit to the school kindly. We shall also be forwarding, and I hope the authorities are able to see this. Hi, I am Samuel Mutambuki from Sinai Unified Organization in Mukuru, Viwandani, part of GR06 and GR06 Network for Fire Safety. Thanks, Jose, for good inputs on preparedness. We are supposed to prepare for fire safety, not to wait until we have an incident, including hospital. Thank you for your feedback. Keep it coming. Now, on this side of the studio, we have, the tools of trade that Jose uses, especially in his line of duty. And I want you to take us through, in a home scenario, in a, school setup, what exactly can be done and what you can acquire and how to go about it. And you can take us through. Yeah,
so in a school setup, we need to have, you remember the safety committee we talked about?
Yes.
From that safety committee, we need to train people, or should I say students and staff, who are going to become fire marshals. Yes, so the older children, we are talking about 16 and above, they can handle the fire extinguishers much stronger.
Yes.
So we get them to be fire marshals, but of course with guidance from the staff who are now the certified fire marshals. Certified meaning we've already trained you and we've certified you for at least 1 year for you to be able to take care of any happenings. Yes. One thing that we've not mentioned, George, is the kitchen. Has the kitchen staff been trained in that institution? So this kitchen staff need to be trained at least beginning of the term, and when the closing date is done, the children are gone, they are actually because they're still working, yeah, they are called and they are trained.
Okay.
In the school setup, it's not a must for them to have such equipment that I have. These are just the equipment during the day that I engage with.
Okay.
That gentleman who's in Tambuki is one of the guys that we equip and train in the slums to actually become what we call fire safety champions. These are the people who help in evacuation in the slum setup. Yeah, so they really don't have to have such equipment.
Okay.
They can just have overalls and maybe some gloves. These gloves are special because it's more like I can touch, what do we call it? Hot stuff, and it will not really penetrate the heat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also this PPE, which I encourage and I ask the government, please equip our fire stations with proper PPE. PPE is not just PPE. There's some PPE when you go, your whole body just lights up. Mm-hmm. I don't want to mention countries where they're from, but they need to have proper PPE. These boots, these are not just other boots from the shop. Mm-hmm. These are actually safety boots. If you step in front, George, here, it's metal.
It's
metal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that metal, if something falls on me as a fireman, I will be okay. So safety starts. The government needs to take care of the firefighters so that we can take care of the taxpayers. So the government needs to see the win-win in this. Yeah. We have even the helmet. This helmet takes care of the falling ceiling debris and everything else. It's not just a normal helmet for construction. This is actually crazy material, and it has some NFPA certification inside here that can be followed. I encourage them. They can reach out to us and we'll be able to guide them on how to actually get to do it.
Okay. To a tool that is,
To a tool.
That should be gotten in every institution.
That we get to see everywhere.
Everywhere.
But the question is, George, do we know how to use it?
Please, show us. Teach us how to go about it.
This one can save lives. But people need to understand the government, there's another document from DOSH, Department of Safety and Health, that says we need to service these extinguishers after every 6 months. 6 months. Why? Because inside here, like for example, it's a powder extinguisher. There's powder here. It's pressurized inside. So the powder comes and settles, and we say it cakes. So the caking, it can be hard. So when there's danger, and I'm trying to shoot it onto the base of the fire, there's nothing that comes out. Yes, there is pressure, but nothing comes out because it has caked. So that 6 months, what happens, it's taken to the factory, removed again, sieved, everything, and then returned afresh, the powder. So how do you get to use this? Even before using, there's actually some safety measures. As you can see, there's a pin here. These are safety pin that even when I press it and I'm holding it, it will not remove the, it will not eject the contents of the substance inside. But then when I remove and I press, which I will not, I need to press it. Where do you press it? There's a way that you do it. You pull out the pin, which I have. I don't know if the camera can show.
Yes.
This is the pin. You pull out the pin. You aim the nozzle. This black pipe is actually a nozzle at the base. At the base of where?
The fire.
The fire. Forget about the smoke. Forget about the fire itself. You shoot at the base of the fire. Once you shoot at the base of the fire, you're actually dealing with the origin of the fire. So you squeeze the lever. So what I'm holding is the handle, and this at the top is the lever. Yes, it is the lever. So you press it. Now, for those who are not very strong, it's not a must that you lift it and spray. You can even put it down. Personally, I'm a firefighter, certified firefighter. But when I'm using my the fire extinguisher because of my disability, I cannot be able to lift it comfortably. So I usually love to handle it when it's down. So how far are you supposed to handle it? Don't go too near. You get at least 1.5. You remember the time for COVID? 1.5 meters. So that's about it. You know, I can be here and then the fire is there, I shoot it. Now, very important. Don't shoot the fire and the door is there behind you. You get what I mean? You need to shoot the fire when you're there and I'm standing here so that if it is uncontrollable, I can be able to run outside. Very important, even as we close, when we are using the fire extinguisher, call the fire brigade.
Yes, in cases of a fire, even with the school, if I'm a neighbor and I neighbor the school and I see a fire, what's the first call that I should make?
The first call you should do is call the fire brigade before even thinking about fighting the fire. For example, the fire brigade number in Nairobi is a 6-digit number, 020 22 22 181. I repeat, 020 22 22 181. That's for Nairobi. And call. They will show up. Most people say that the fire brigade come late. But did you call first? Did you know that a fire multiplies double after every 10 seconds? Imagine that. So by the time it's out of control, the whole building is gone. So call, by the time they reach here, at least they have the paraphernalia, the equipment to actually deal with the fire.
And let's even go to the home setup. Even when kids are on holiday, can someone just decide, apart from when the school is able to offer these lessons and these trainings for fire, I mean, what are some of the ABCs that perhaps at home someone can say, I also need to be compliant even as I'm sending my child to a learning institution?
So number one, I advise people, have a fire extinguisher in the home. Yes, that's one of the SOPs in the homes. Have a fire extinguisher and what do we call it? A first aid kit. Yeah, you can always call on firefighters in your county and consultants like us to actually get to teach you on how to use this. Personally, we do it during the holiday. We train the house help. I'm passionate about house helps because you see now the house help left me in the home.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, what if they could have followed that one rule that the parents told them not to leave that baby in the house? I could have had limbs, you know?
Things could have been different.
Things could have been different. But because of them not following instructions and they need to constantly be trained, that's where now we come in and be able to assist them towards being compliant in the home, you know, not adding water into hot liquid cooking oil. Your oil has already it's already boiling with water, with the fire. What agent do you use? So if you add water, it changes its matter into gas and then quickly burns you properly.
What matter should they use, just for context?
Number one, if you don't have a fire extinguisher, you can use a lid and cover it, and then now that's when you are smothering it. You are killing off the oxygen. If you don't have a lid, you can use baking powder. Yeah, you know, the one that baking powder for making chapati, and not is it chapati or mandazi? Cake. Yeah. Yes. Number three, use flour for cooking mandazi and chapati. Don't use maize flour. Maize flour has actually, research has said, maize flour actually reignites back again because it has bigger granules. So the fire will, the oxygen will find its way inside and then it will reignite. Okay. Even use soil. Soil is a very good solution too. And also a fire blanket. Yes, you can also use a fire blanket. And those are the two things you need to invest in: a fire blanket and a fire extinguisher. So
schools can get fire blanket,
extinguishers. That's mandatory.
Okay.
In fact, the schools that don't have fire blankets and fire equipment have not trained their staff.
And where should they be placed? In classrooms, everywhere?
No, they need to be not inside the classroom, at the corridor, the hallways of the school. The homes, our homes need to have smoke alarms. You know, they're so affordable. It's just 1,000 bob. Yeah, in town, just go in town and say, I want a smoke, whatever. In supermarkets, they have it. They're so affordable, you know. What other thing that they need to know? Have a fire drill in the home. Have you trained your children on how to actually evacuate from their home, from the bedroom to the car park, and who are they going to call? You know, so those are the aspects that we need to adopt, because once we have a culture put inside of us, it will be second to nature. When this child comes from home and comes to school, they'll go like, excuse me, teacher, I think we need to have a fire drill. You know, for me to be safe, we need to have a fire drill. Because it started at home, and me as the parent actually got to start it off. You start them young, by the time they're adults like us, do you think they're going to burn schools?
No. So, Jose, you can look into that camera and, talk to Kenyans, including your closing remarks regarding this whole containment of fires and what to do, especially in emergencies and tragedies.
Yeah. What I'd like to tell Kenyans is basically safety starts with you. You know, don't be a hero towards actually saving fire, saving lives. If you are not safe, please don't put yourself on harm's way. Your family needs you at home. Number two, don't encourage being unlawful. If you find somebody, if it's your neighbor's child who's dealing in drugs and they're going to school, remember that baby who's innocent in school might actually be in danger because you didn't report this child to the authorities. You're building the nation by actually saying, hey, this particular kid is being unruly and they need help, you know. So you're going to help us, firefighters, by reporting cases of unruliness. Number 3, and very important, do not throw stones to firefighters. We did not come late. It is us, or the community, who did not call us early in advance. So call us early. Do not throw stones in these fire trucks. These fire trucks belong to you, the taxpayer. So if you throw rocks at them, tomorrow we shall not have any car to respond to you because it will not be roadworthy. Number 4, make sure you practice evacuation drills in your home. I cannot emphasize on that. Practice fire safety drills and make sure that you're compliant from the home until your workplace. And you, the proprietor of the school, you, the board member, you, the school member, being the parent, please support the principals of these schools when they say, hey, we need to have drills. We need to have drills, support them so that our children can be safe. These children are the future of Kenya.
Indeed.
Thank you.
The future of Kenya. Dr. John Mukundi is still on the line. Dr. You've heard and seen what is going on, the safety procedures that we've talked about. He has challenged the establishment of the school board. Perhaps you can talk to us about that. Is it happening in your areas of your institutions, and of course your final thoughts as we wind up tonight?
Yeah, one of the prerequisites that the ministry, when they are registering any learning institution, that they require you to have is actually to have a school board. And therefore, that one we already have in our both institutions. And they check also the minutes, whether we have the minutes for the meetings. So it is not just establishing people you want. It is simply doing the best. But you find some of the proprietors will just look for their friends, and that is it. But we require some people, like in Royal Fanaka Academy. We have composed people from the community of the students, the pupils that we have, some of the parents that we have, and therefore they help us in managing that particular institution. So it is something that we have done. And I believe if we can be able to follow whatever our fire expert has actually shown us, it will become a great thing. So I believe all is not lost, and we can purpose as educationists to begin from where we are. We try our level best so that everything now works in accordance to how it should work.
Indeed. Thank you so much. That has been Dr. John Mukundi, Director, Achievers College and Royal Fanaka Academies, joining us all the way from MB. Thank you, Dr. and have a good night. Indeed, and here in studio, we've been joined by Jose Njoki Ngunjiri, a fire safety officer, also with Africa Fire Mission. Thank you so much for sharing your nuggets.
You're welcome.
And we look forward to having another conversation next time.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed, and thank you so much for your feedback. I am George Maringa. As always, stay safe and be kind to one another. The conversation continues online. Good night from Nairobi.